Another edition of B&A Sports Talk. So my voice is not in the best state. My voice is like all I got at this point. A good thing I'm taking off in the weather center. I got a little bit of a throat thing. I don't know what it is. But let's get into the video that I want to do today. We're going to redraft the 2021 draft for the Giants, what I would have done. And then I have a topic later that I haven't come up with yet, but we're going to do that. So first of all, I gave us an A- for this draft. The fact that we traded back, the fact that we saved a couple $1 million for cap hits this year. You know, that was a great option. I said trade out of this draft. There's a lot of uncertainty. And then after the fourth round, we kind of just took 3 shots in the dark against with the good character guys that we thought could hit. Now, what I really was concerned about, we'll talk about a little bit later, is all the players that didn't get drafted. Marvin Wilson, and a lot of players that dropped, like Trey Smith. There was also Stone Forsythe that dropped a whole bunch. There's a lot of players where just like Joel Cox dropped a decent bit. That's weird. Like you see we got Cameron Cheeseman that got drafted ahead of a guy like Marvin Wilson, ahead of a guy like Ardarius Washington from Washington. I think I'm saying that right? Is his last name Washington? I haven't even noticed that. And a bunch of Tamari and Terry didn't get drafted. Dylan Moses didn't get drafted. I think this cornerback from Syracuse also didn't get drafted as well. It's just like, what the hell, man? Like, why didn't these players get drafted? And what I've seen a lot recently is quarterbacks don't get drafted in later rounds. Like, you just sign the guy free agent if he picks up, the 5th, 6th, 7th round quarterbacks. They're just not of value anymore. Felipe Franks, the former Gator quarterback. If you said like 2 years ago, the guy that we have on our roster right now, Kyle Trask, who hasn't started in 5 years, 6 years at the time, ended up being 7 years, is going to be drafted ahead of Felipe Franks. Nevertheless, Felipe Franks is going to go undrafted. He's going to go in the 2nd round to the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wow. Good luck, Kyle Trask. He was in the same situation as Chris Sims was. Coming off a Super Bowl, gets a day 2 pick. I'm wishing him the best. And he has some tools. He doesn't have them all. But I'm just looking forward to what he sees. He's going to fill more of that backup role. But now that we kind of stalled a little bit, let's get into what I would have done with the players that were on the board. So first of all, I love the trade back. You had Devontae Smith off the board. You had a couple corners off the board. If I were to pick, if let's say nobody called us and we weren't blown away by a pick by like the Bears or the Patriots or whoever, at that spot, I probably would have gone Elijah Vera Tucker. He was the number 1 on my big board remaining left. My big board was Jalen Waddle, Elijah Vera Tucker. Then I had Micah Parsons. Then it was, Rashawn Slater, Devontae Smith. So the second best player on my board was there. So I would have taken Elijah Vera Tucker. And from there, then in the 2nd round, you could have gone a wide receiver. In this scenario, a 2nd round wide receiver that was available was De'Ami Brown. He ended up getting selected in the 3rd round. I believe Terrace Marshall was available there too. So that was one scenario. And in the 3rd round, we'll get into that in my 2nd scenario. But you want to draft the best player available. We drafted 2 corners, 2 edge guys. So let's get into if we did trade back for at 20. I think Toney was the pick. Toney was the number 1 pick. Now, a lot of people said we should have gone edge, Paye, and a lot of other guys like Jason Owe. I didn't like a lot of those guys. Well, even Azeez Ojulari, who ended up getting the pick 50. Like, people saying we could have gotten him at that spot too. But I think Toney was the pick. When you were like scrolling down to see the players available, I saw Toney. I'm like, yep, that's the guy. That's the only guy that makes sense here. And the Giants drafted him because I didn't like a Rashad Bateman scheme fit. I'm like, he doesn't have anything after the catch. You're just going to get a Darius Slayton, a guy who, can run past people, a 4.39 guy, really, like a 4.45 guy, based on you add a little bit from the combine. Nothing special, nothing like an Odell. Like, Kadarius Toney offers you a lot more. And he's been playing the wide receiver position for 2 years. That's it. That he hasn't been playing. And you see the improvement that he had. It wasn't Kyle Trask getting better. I guess he got a little bit better. But Kyle Trask didn't improve overly in just the year. He set records and stuff for Florida Gators, but in an all-SEC schedule. But Kadarius Toney and Kyle Pitts were really the ones who stepped up. And people rag on the Odell conversation, and this dude has that potential here. He just needs to be a better route runner. He has a work ethic. He's willing to work. I think he's a great guy, and I would pick him at 20 at that spot. I think that's a slam dunk pick. I think that's the right pick at 20. I'm not drafting Caleb Farley. I'm not drafting Asante Samuel Jr. I'm not drafting anybody at that spot besides Kadarius Toney. And, so let's get into the second round. Now, I think the trade back is a really good idea. Now, at that spot, apparently we had 5 guys that we really liked. And the guys that went behind him, I'm not too crazy for any of them. Names that got drafted between 42 and 50 included, obviously Liam Eichenberg, who got selected by Miami, the team we traded with. Trayvon Merrick, Calvin Joseph, who's, pretty good. That would have been an option. But just the experience kind of concerning. Walker Little, Jackson Carman, who, great, he's impressive. Asante Samuel Jr., Aaron Banks, and then Rondale Moore. So, obviously, if we select Kadarius Toney, we're not selecting him. So, everyone who was available, I like the trade back. That's a great value. I love that trade back, getting extra third next year. Great on Dave Gettleman. But at that spot, my edge 3 is Joseph Osai. And my edge 4 is Azeez Ojulari. So I'm not pounding the table, but I probably would have gone Joseph Osai. But me personally, now that's kind of selfish, that sort of thing. But I think Joseph Osai needs to learn to convert speed to power a little bit better. But so does Azeez Ojulari. I think Joseph Osai is just as explosive now. The get off from Azeez Ojulari is better. As far as the quick burst right off the line, and he does offer a little bit more in coverage. But can we stop with the coverage stuff? You just back up and stick your arm out. I guess it's valuable, but I'm just sick and tired of we want a guy that could back up into coverage. What about rushing the passer, which is kind of what we need. I don't care about that sort of thing. You can kind of, I think, go on the fly, but he has natural ability he has an inside move. I don't think Azeez Ojulari has that good of an inside move. He doesn't. He just relies on that speed around the edge. Joseph Osai can do a lot of things. Both of them get shut down by overly powerful and speedy tackles. That's just what happens. Okay. Joseph Osai is just as young as Azeez, and I think they both have upside. So I would have gone Joseph Osai here. And then for the rest of the draft, this is where it gets kind of a little bit dicey. I would have gone, I like Aleem McNeil at pick number 71. That's who I would have went with. Aleem McNeil is just that defensive tackle. You have Danny Shelton for 1 year. You just got rid of Dalvin Tomlinson. And you could just be stuff him right up the middle. And, he offers somewhat of a swim move and a pass rush. The dude is an athletic guy. He's played baseball before. I think there's Aaron Robinson. We did ignore cornerback in this hypothetical mock draft, but we're good enough. You could have gone after the guy that we went after in the 4th round, Darius Williams again, that sort of thing. But I think Aleem McNeil was just such great value here. The Detroit Lions end up selecting him at the very next pick, so it just shows that this guy deserved to be there. He was my defensive tackle, I think number 3 or 4. So getting that guy in the 3rd round, that would have been pretty good value. And in the 4th round, again, getting pretty dicey. I don't love the pick that we did have because it's not a scheme fit. I don't really see it. I guess it's just a wild card. I would have gone with Marco Wilson. I had M. Wilson. I'm really? Marvin Wilson didn't even get drafted. But, Marco Wilson, kind of that speedy slot guy. So we did address corner here. I think Aaron Robinson's a better corner than Marvin Wilson. But that guy could just stick to the hip. He did get exposed by Devontae Smith, but everyone got exposed by Devontae Smith, and it was a lot of scheme stuff. But the guy, a little bit character concerns, but he fluid with the hips, a speedy guy. He could attach your hip. I didn't have him ranked. Sorry, I don't have the 10th cornerback ranked, but guy like Chris Sims, really respected. He had, respected by some, had him as the number 6 corner in the draft. So that would have been my draft. We got 2 Florida players, a Texas player, and a North Carolina player. But hope you guys did enjoy this video. I'm not going to do the 6th round pick. That's kind of just, I didn't do enough scouting. I don't know. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.